Well, hey again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of our verse and thought of the day. In this case, Good Monday morning. Although for many of you, I'm sure Monday is just like every other day. With everything that's been going on around us, it's hard to differentiate one day from the next. And now, even with our services having to move fully online, Sunday no longer ends the week, or begins the week, I guess, technically. And so Monday is just kind of another day in the rigmarole. These times are crazy, aren't they? And I know that we don't want all of these devotionals to be about COVID, but certainly COVID is the pressing issue of the day. The last devotional on Friday, Pastor Layton addressed the issue of fear. And this devotional also kind of builds on some of the things that he talked about when he did his devotional from Psalm 27. What is it that causes us to fear? Now, there's obviously lots of things, but I think for many of us, there are two certain factors that create fear in us. One is uncertainty, and two is when things are out of our control. Our human nature tends to long for certainty and tends to long for control of our situation, and that, for some reason, that makes us feel safe. Now, our verse today is from 1 John 4, and in the context of John writing this, he's actually talking about spiritual warfare, and for believers to be able to discern evil spirits and Satan's work when it comes upon us. But the principle that he shares with us in 1 John 4:4, I think, is applicable in many other situations. 1 John 4:4 says, "You, dear children," talking about those who follow Christ, "are from God and have overcome them," speaking specifically here of the evil spirits, "because the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world." You see, in the spiritual context, we know that God is greater than Satan and greater than all of those evil forces that tend to try to work against us. But if he's greater than all of those evil forces, is God not greater than anything else that's around us? Well, of course he is. So when we feel the tendency to fear, we can remember that if it's uncertainty or the lack of control that's causing us to fear, we can trust upon a God who is fully in control and fully certain of everything that is happening. It's hard to imagine that COVID was actually known by God and maybe even allowed by God to happen during this time and that we're going through it. And maybe one day we'll be able to ask God, what were you doing? Why were you doing what you did when this happened? Why was 2020 the way it was? And I'm sure that it'll all make sense to us one day when he reveals the fullness of his plan. But in the meantime, when times come, when situations come into our life, COVID or otherwise, that causes us to fear, let's remember that those who are in Christ have the actual power of God in them, because God is greater than anything else in this world. He who is in us is greater than anything else in this world. So as you move into this week, let's do so without fear. Let's lift ourselves before God and commit ourselves to him and allow his power to fill us and flow through us so that we can overcome whatever it is that may come to us this week. Praying for you. Have a great week.